Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Jamie, the crafty DIY guy. Welcome to my channel. All right, everyone, in today's video, I've got a compilation for you, a walk down memory lane, if you will. These are really some of my favorite Valentine's DIYs that I've done throughout the years of my channel. And you'll see some of the footage is really bad from back in the day when I did some of these DIY projects. But I have to say they were a lot of fun to go back and look through and, see how far I've come. And honestly, to see some great projects that I had forgotten that I had actually made. So hopefully you will enjoy this compilation. You'll get some good laughs out of it. I know a lot of you are probably wondering what's been going on with me, with COVID. I am doing really fine. I have kind of an ongoing congestion, kind of like a really bad sinus infection, and that's about the worst that I've got. I have had some horrible headaches, and I get fatigued really easily, but other than that, I am fighting it off really well. If you are a subscriber of mine, thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate it. And of course, if you're brand new to my channel, my name is Jamie. Hopefully you will stick around and subscribe. All right, guys, let's get into that video. Our first project, we're going to take one of these rainbow wreaths that you can pick up at Dollar Tree. It has this center heart in it, which I am going to discard and push to the side. Also, I grabbed this sparkly kind of styrofoam wreath that I grabbed at Dollar Tree as well. I thought that these could be nice if they were combined together. So first, I went ahead and just removed that hanger tab from that wreath itself. And then this guy, you can actually bend it a little bit. If you bend it too much, it's going to snap, but don't worry about it because it won't fall apart. I did learn that when I bent mine because it did snap. And all you're really doing is just gluing this heart inside of it. Literally, it is that easy. So all you have to do is take a little bit of hot glue and literally add it to the point there in the center of where you pulled your hanging tab out. And add a little bit of hot glue on the sides here, and then glue it together. Glue it together from the top, and then you'll also kind of repeat the process towards the bottom of the heart, and it will hold together just perfectly. Then we're going to take one of these Crafter Squares arrows, and I am going to actually paint this black. I'm not in a very lovey mood this year because I'm single, I guess, and I'm going with a black arrow through my heart. But you could certainly do gold or silver or something sparkly if you wanted to. I am just going to do a couple coats of my black chalk paint on this, and then as you will see, I'm going to pull out my saw and start hacking this in half. Not because I am not optimistic about love, but because I want the arrow to go through the heart. So to do this, we're just going to flip this heart over on its backside, and as you will see, I'm just going to apply some hot glue directly onto that styrofoam wreath and hold that in place. And when it's all done and dry, this is what you've got for the front door. I actually do really like this and probably will end up going and painting this arrow gold. Maybe. And for my second project, we're going to take one of these hearts that you can pick up from Crafter Square at Dollar Tree. Also, I found this twine, and I really like the red and white twine, so I'm going to be using that. I have these beads that are left over from Christmas, so I'm going to be using some of the white beads and the red beads. And then I'm going to be using some of this Arteza acrylic paint to paint the heart with. First thing I'm going to do is take this guy out and then put it aside because I remembered that I need to paint that heart first. I painted that heart with that red color, and I do love these Arteza paints because they are typically just one coat, which is great. And for a project like this, it is perfect. And they also dry really fast. After my heart dried, it was time to go ahead and start stringing my beads. I'm going to take my twine and I'm actually gluing two of the ends together. And the reason why I'm going to do that is because it will go together much easier, as you can see here. Now, my string is doubled through there, and then I'm going to bring my 4 points together. Hopefully that is making sense. And I'm going to add more hot glue to make sure that I have a nice kind of stiff end there so I can thread my beads. it actually is a great trick and works out really, really easily. Once all of my beads were threaded, I just tied a simple tassel at the end of it, and I have my decorative heart accent. This is a great way to add an accent to any of your current knickknacks. I think it would even be a fun way to maybe give a special gift to your loved one. What do you guys think? And since we are doing love and rainbows and unicorns here, I might as well show you this other project that I did. I actually did this a while ago. I took one of these Crafter Squares unicorns, add some pom-poms. I grabbed some pom-poms in these rainbow colors and then also some plain white pom-poms. And my thought is that we could decorate a unicorn together. This was an old project that I did quite a while ago, and for whatever reason, I just never posted the video. So now you guys get a little bonus DIY here with this one. I am going to go ahead and just start gluing the pom-poms down. I'm going to do all of the white pom-poms as the main of the, or as the, I guess the fur, the main body part of the unicorn. And then for the mane of the unicorn, I am going to be using those rainbow colored pom-poms that you saw in that other bag there. I did grab all of those from Crafter Square Dollar Tree, by the way. And then once I had all of the mane and everything done, it was time to do the unicorn's horn. I thought that it would be great to add a little bit of sparkle to this. So for the horn itself, I am going to be using a piece of this scrap paper. This is a blue glitter paper, and I thought it would be perfect for the unicorn's horn. And then for an eyeball, I just added a gold bead to the center, and you've got a very simple unicorn. My next DIY, we're going to be taking these grapevine hearts that you can pick up at Dollar Tree. I thought that these would be pretty cool if we could turn them into garland. The good thing about these is that they actually come apart pretty easily. They are just wrapped at the base there with some very simple wire, and it kind of looks like this here. All you have to do is just kind of gently pull apart at the bottom of the heart, and the wire will start to come loose. You can grab the wire and just kind of unwire it a little bit. And then once you have another heart, you can interlock it and start wiring everything back together. Just repeat that with however many pieces of this this grapevine wreath heart that you want to use. And as you will see, it creates kind of a cool garland once you've got it all together. I really like this, and I think it's super cool, and I could see using this all year long. All right, and for my last project, we're going to be using one of these Dollar Tree wood signs. I actually really loved the saying that this one had on it. I did not love the color combo, unfortunately, so I'm going to be painting over that. I have these oversized letters that I picked up from Amazon. I will remember to link them in the description box below for you if you want to grab some of these. I've actually really loved working with these. They've been super versatile. So for this sign, I'm going to be taking my love letters, and I'm going to be gluing them on top of this. After everything dried, I took it outside and I spray painted it a midnight navy. I really do love the way that this sign turned out. I think what I like best about it is that I don't have to only use it for Valentine's Day. I made the color and the decor work for my current decor. This navy is an accent color that I have in my kitchen, and this allows me to bring love in all year long. What do you guys think? This is for kind of an industrial vase. You're going to need one of these Dollar Tree basketball games. You're going to need a plunger handle. This is the Dollar Tree plunger handle. I did go ahead and just trim off this edge. I took about, I would say about that much of it off. Get a Dollar Tree vase. This is kind of a new vase that they've got that is kind of like a, almost looks like an old glassware. It's going to be very cool. And we're going to do a little bit of an antiquing treatment on this. So that will be really cool. And then you're going to need shower curtain rings. You're only going to need one of them. And then also some of these large clips from Dollar Tree. So let's get started. The first thing I did was trim down my Dollar Tree plunger and just sand it off at the bottom, keeping that rounded edge at the very top. The next thing I wanted to do was go ahead and take my football game and just simply flip that over and drill a hole in the bottom of it as a pilot hole for my screw. Then go ahead and take your screw, feed it through the bottom of the football plaque all the way through, until you get a good contact and your screw is hidden. It's great if you can use a very flat head screw for this particular project. And also make sure that your screw is long enough to not only go through the football plaque, but also through the rod itself. Then once you've got this set up in a good place, go ahead and take your plunger rod and simply just adhere it to the end of the stick as well, making sure that you have a good solid contact. And it should look something like this. Then you're going to take your clip, figure out kind of the placement of where you want that after you've kind of placed it on the neck of the bottle like this. Mark your holes and then go ahead and screw the clip to the dowel rod also. I decided at the last minute not to use the shower ring and instead used this leftover scrap from a previous project. I went ahead and peeled off the gold ribbon that was on there and then taped it up where it broke. Then I wrapped it in some nautical rope to give it a decent hold onto my stick. Then with a lot of glue from my hot glue gun and also some tacky glue, I just held it in place until it had a good solid contact. I took everything outside once it dried and gave it a nice coat of black paint. And this is what the finished product looks like. I am obsessed with this project. We're going to use one of these Dollar Tree love signs. We're also going to use a wood heart and 2 wooden arrows from the Crafter Square section. You'll need some red wood beads. If you don't have any red ones on hand, you can simply just paint them. These are leftover from Christmas garland that I picked up at Walmart. On either side of your love sign, you'll see these hoops that are used for hanging the sign on the wall. You can simply remove those. For your 2 arrows, go ahead and just split them in half. You can do this a couple different ways. You could use a box cutter and you could score the wood. I'm going to use my Dremel tool. You could also very easily get one of the saws that are in the hardware section at Dollar Tree. After you've split your arrows, you're going to go ahead and glue these on the back of your heart. Just kind of figure out how you want your placement to be. I started to put it here at a diagonal, and then I decided to change it up last minute and switch it more lengthwise, or is it horizontal, vertical? That way, across the heart. I then took my wood heart outside and gave it a nice coating of my Rust-Oleum hammered gold spray paint. I love this spray paint, and I love the effect it gives on wood surfaces. While everything was drying outside, I started to string my beads on my wire, and then I'm going to take my wire and just simply start feeding it through the letters on the love sign. As you can see, I'm kind of starting off at each little section and then wrapping my wire around kind of the brackets, I guess they're called, of the love sign, and then working my way down until I've got all of the letters filled in. This is a little bit of a tedious project, but once you kind of get in the rhythm, it will actually go easier. You can flip it upside down, you can flip it backwards, you can flip it, multiple ways, whatever works best for you, and then you will have a love sign that kind of looks like this. And to carry on with my red bead theme, I am going to take a piece of twine and just add some red beads to it. And then I'm going to pull it really, really tightly until it is wrapped around and tied. I don't want any of the twine to show. I really just want the beads to show. So here I'm going to actually take off some of the beads. That way I can make sure that this rope is nice and tight. I tie it in a double knot and then just glue it down to the back of the sign. Then I'm going to go ahead and place my sign on the front. I kind of want it to line up with the beads that I just strung through the top of the heart there. And what I'm going to do is just kind of eyeball where I want to place it and kind of figure out where the touch points are. The L and the E don't exactly lay flat, so it's important to add lots of glue to the O and to the V. And so I'm just adding some hot glue on here. I'm doing it on the metal pieces that kind of stick out more. And then I'm also going to do it on some of the beads that will also lay flat up against the sign itself. Once I did that, I just flipped it over and let that glue dry on the sign itself, and then held a little bit of pressure, and it was done. This is what it looks like on my front door. I absolutely love this and think that it's very high-end looking, very different looking than what you would find at a normal retail store. And I think it would be really beautiful if you added some florals or something like that to it as well. Again, super cute, very clever, and a different way to say love. This next DIY project is going to be really easy. You're going to grab one of these glass bowls that you can find in the home decor section at Dollar Tree. I also grabbed one of these glass candle holders. For mine, I'm just going to use a little bit of my Sure Bonder glue. I'm doing that way I can use this candlestick or this bowl for other projects in the future. For yours, you may want to use something like E6000 or even super glue, something that's going to really hold this together better. Once you've got that glued together and everything is nice and solid, then you are pretty much done. After that, you're simply going to add some of these Dollar Tree vase fillers and some water to your bowl. Now, trick about these vase fillers, they will float. They are going to also get very waterlogged because there are little tiny holes in them. So just give them a chance to settle, kind of help them along if you have to. Add a floating candle, maybe even some dried flowers or some fresh flowers, and you've got a very romantic little candlescape here. You can put this on your side table. You could put this on your nightstand. I think this would be amazing in the bathroom, in the kitchen, really anywhere you want a little bit of romance. Now for my next project, you may have seen a teaser there. We're going to make a pair of love dice. I'm using some of these gold foil glitter stickers. I'm also using some of these felt stickers and a set of my dice from Dollar Tree. I grabbed some indoor-outdoor acrylic paint from Arteza. I found that this worked fine. It dried really nicely as well. I did do 2 coats on my dice. After that was all set, then I lined up my dice next to each other and I started placing my stickers. Now I'm going to be using some of the glitter stickers and then various colors of the pink and the red hearts and some of the different sizes. And essentially I'm going around the dice and making sure that I have the same stickers on each dice. That way everything is consistent and there is a possibility of getting a match. And when you're all done, you can roll the dice and see if you get a match. And I don't know, I think that these could be fun to use maybe in the bedroom perhaps. Or, you know, definitely they would look cute on a tiered tray. You don't have to get all crazy with them. But again, something that's super simple and very fun and very easy to do. And for my next project, we're going to be using one of these very popular door hanger signs that you can get at Dollar Tree. For this one, I planned on using it for a different project and had it all taped together and then decided against that. So I'm just going to use my scrap. I also have these 2 pieces or these 4 pieces, it's 2 pieces per pack, of this chalkboard strips that you can get in the Crafter Square section now. So go ahead and separate your heart pieces, whether that means pulling off the tape like I'm doing or removing the ribbon until you have the 4 separate pieces. Then you're literally just going to take your chalkboard strips and each piece of your heart, trace it out on the chalkboard strip, and then just simply cut them out, peel the backing off, and stick it right to your pieces. This is very, very easy to do, and the adhesive on the back of this is actually really, really good. Then it's time to go ahead and add a ribbon treatment or a rope. My bow is going to be a little bit more rustic, I guess you'd say, so I'm going to use twine in between my pieces. You could very easily do ribbon. This process, I think, is pretty much the same. I just flip the pieces over. The reason why I use the plain cardboard backing, by the way, is because it's smoother. Those hearts on that one side are kind of glittery, and I just didn't want to deal with sanding it down, to be honest. So I'm lining up my pieces. I'm using a wood jingle block in the middle of each piece. That way it gives me the proper spacing. And then literally I'm just adding masking tape and working my way down that twine. That way everything is held in place and everything is nice and even. And then I will go back through and I'll add some hot glue into all of those sections. Now for my bow, I think I'm the worst at doing bows, so I don't ever show how I do my bows. But this is what it looks like when it's all done. I added that little bow at the top and then used a chalkboard pen from Dollar Tree. And I created this really cute chalkboard that I think has a cool farmhouse look. And I think you could easily keep this out and around all year long. And for my last project, we're going to use one of these heart form wreaths from Dollar Tree. I'm also going to be using a ton of popsicle sticks. These are the regular size popsicle sticks. I would say that this is definitely a full package of popsicle sticks. I keep mine in a little butter dish for storage, but you're going to need a ton of them. So go ahead and flip your wreath form over face down. So you've got the somewhat flat side that is facing up, because that's actually the side that you're going to be working on. Now I'm just going to take my popsicle sticks and I'm literally going to start gluing them all around the frame of the heart. Now, this one proved to be a little bit of a challenge because it has very angular edges in some ways, and then it has very kind of, rounded edges in other ways. So for this one, all I'm going to do is just start working my way in the bottom. I'm going to start with that popsicle stick directly down in the bottom and get that nice and centered. And then I'm going to start working my way left to right. These, if I were to redo this, I probably would maybe start angling these a little quicker, but I think it worked out really, really well, and I kind of love the effect it gives after it's stained. This is definitely one of those projects that I almost scrapped before I finished it, but I'm so glad that I moved forward with it. So as I was saying, you're just going to keep working your popsicle sticks all the way around the heart, and then when you get to those rounded edges, that's where you're going to pause a little bit. So then I went to the top of the heart and started in the center there and almost kind of mimicked what I was doing with the lower part of the heart. And then as I got to the corners or to the rounded parts of the heart, then I started to fan out my popsicle sticks kind of like so, and doing a little bit of overlapping. And I think if I were to redo this, I would probably start the fanning out at the bottom of the heart. But again, I'm super happy with the way this looks, especially once it's all stained. And it gives it just a really cool rustic look. So once I get to that area and I've got everything kind of fanned out, then I'm doubling up where I need to until the popsicle sticks join each other and you've got a completed popsicle stick heart that kind of looks like this. And then I took my favorite product, which is Folk Arts Antiquing Wax, and literally just painted on a fairly heavy amount of antiquing wax directly on the popsicle sticks. I didn't really worry right now about any of the coverage because this is supposed to look rustic. This is supposed to look kind of worn out, if you will. And I am just kind of painting this on really, really quickly. And then I will go back in with a little bit more of my antiquing wax and just kind of get into some of those cracks and crevices. Then I take a brush and or clean cloth rather, and just start wiping it and blending the antiquing wax until I had something that looked like this. And then I had this tube ribbon stuff that was left over from the fall. It kind of looks like burlap, but it kind of ties like a ribbon. I don't know, it's kind of cool. And I am taking it and just kind of going end to end here with some even amounts. And then when I get my bow, if you will, what I think is going to be a good size for the bow, then I'm just going to simply tie it off in the middle and use that as my bow. I love this stuff and plan to buy it in every single color since I don't really like making a lot of bows. I added this to the top center of my wreath form, and then I am adding in some greenery. These are some boxwood pieces from Dollar Tree, and then I did go ahead and add in some small little white flowers in there just to give it a little bit of color. Again, love this so much and think it turned out really, really nice. So you're going to need one of these coveted Valentine's hearts. Hopefully you've got one that's left over from the holidays. And then the other thing you're going to need is some twine. Now, I was able to find this twine, this great twine at, I got it actually on Amazon. And what's cool about it is, as you can see, it's got these little leaves of beautiful little flowers, little green leaves all over it. So that is what I'm going to use to create my farmhouse inspired little heart here. So the first thing you're going to want to do is remove all of this stuff. Now, this stuff is pretty easy from what I understand. Once you kind of get started on it, yeah, look at that. Once you get started, it just kind of starts to come off. Now, what I'm doing though is you can see that when I cut it and I kind of just cut it in one area. And look at that, even the love thing comes off. So you can reuse this. There's no reason why you need to throw this away. And it is literally just wrapped around tightly around each one of these little knobs kind of at the end of the wreath. So go ahead and get this completely removed. And then once you do that, not only will you have, so let's go ahead and remove the price tag. Get that out of the way. I think I'm going to keep my little red ribbon holder there just for now anyway. But is this guy? Oh, that's the price tag being a jerk. Okay, now it's gone. And then you can see you're gonna have all of this great red tinsely kind of ribbon to be able to use again. And I mean, it was that simple. There's a little bit down here kind of where I cut it. But if you started digging on the end of that, you'd probably find, but then check this out. I've got all of this great tinsel ribbon that I can reuse for another project. And this could be for, gosh, this could be for Christmas. This could be for Valentine's Day. This could really be for anything. So it's super cool. Just toss it aside. And then what you're gonna do with this is you're gonna take a pair of clippers. I think this should work. You know how like you're always looking for stuff and like I never put stuff down where it was before, so I don't know where my really good ones went. Oh, I just found them. These are my really heavy ones. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna cut these knobs off and you're gonna cut these down as close to the edge as you can. Now, I need to go ahead and get rid of a couple of these first in order to give me some space. You could certainly use the knobs again if you wanted to, like that twine. I just thought about this, but too late now. That twine would actually go really good wrapped back and forth through there, but I'm actually not covering this up again. I think I'm gonna try the smaller ones and see if I can get in there better. Yeah, that's much better. Yep, so you'll go through and you'll just literally just cut all these guys off. And then once you've done that and you've gone all the way around, then you're going to spray paint this, and I'm gonna spray paint this brown. So once I cut the rest of the knobs off, spray paint it brown, I'll bring it back inside and I'll show you what we're gonna do with the twine. Now, as you can see here, I decided to spray paint my form white. And for the next part, you're literally just going to glue this twine right on top of this form itself. You could probably wrap it if you wanted to, but that's going to use a lot of your materials. After it was completely dried, this is the finished look. Here it is on the wall. I love the way it looks in my farmhouse kind of guest bedroom. And then here is a close-up look so you can see what the details look like on the vines themselves. Those green flowers are amazing. All right, you guys, let me know what your favorite was. I think that vase was definitely one of my favorites, and I'm pretty partial to that popsicle stick wreath too. I thought that was really cool and just had a really fun vibe to it. All right, guys, more DIYs coming soon. Take care.